Hey guys, DMCUBING, and today a quick shout out and update video as quick as I can make it. Updates, cubing updates, magnet update. Got word from Gaussboys.com. Dave there, he's a great guy. He supports what we're doing. He specifically or specially ordered me some N42 5x1 magnets that are going to work great in a cube like the Weilong GTS and a bunch of other cubes. I've been using the great N48 5x1 because that's the only thing that was available. That and a lot weaker, and then one that was a lot stronger. And to me, I think that magnet is awesome in a cube like the GTS2, but it's right down the middle. I mean, it's a medium, subtle pull force strength. I wouldn't really go any stronger than that, but I could see going a little weaker than that. The N35 5x1s are too weak. So in the middle, N35, N48, boom, N42. And Dave special ordered these things for us, and they just came in, and I ordered a bunch of them. I should either have them today or tomorrow. And the first thing I'm going to do is put them in a GTS2 and see how they work. I think they're going to be awesome. So I'll definitely upload a update video on that. Other cubing news, the Yuexiao Pro, I've used the N48 5x1s in it. I heard that that's what the cubicle uses. Somebody let that out of the bag. Won't mention any names. But yeah, if that's what they use, cool, because I've been using that magnet way long before I knew that's what they were using. Anyway, you can magnetize the Yuexiao Pro by putting the magnets on the opposite side across from the little magnetic slots. They just have to be positioned further up, right at the edge surface of the pieces, and it can be done. So I actually filmed a tutorial. I got all the video and all this stuff. I just haven't had a chance to edit and all that stuff, but I hope to. Anyway, here's some pictures. And another thing is, I've got some great subscribers, and one guy said, hey, the designer of the Yuexiao Pro actually built me a magnetized version of it, and he personally prefers the original Yuexiao springs in it. And I'm like, well, that's great to know, because I'm not a speed solver. I like to solve the cube, but I'm not a speed solver. But even I noticed immediately with the Yuexiao Pro, I'm like, man, these springs, I just don't know. You try to set the tension, back a little bit, and they just don't feel right. You try to bring the cube in where it feels about tensioned right, and the springs feel too strong. So to me personally, I felt a lighter spring. Well, a lot of people seem to like a lighter spring in it. So the original Yuexiao Pro is a thinner gauge wire, even though it's a little bit longer. The new Yuexiao Pro spring is a stubbier, it's shorter, and the gauge of wire is thicker, so that accounts for its strength, even though it's shorter. So I built this cube, and I used I did a spring swap in it, and I used the original Yuexiao springs in it, and it's neat, but still I think it could be even a lighter spring. So I might either chop these springs or build springs or find a spring that works. I've heard people using everything from Yan 3 to MF3 RS springs, so people are experimenting. This is cool. What else? Well, not so much cubing related. Some of you guys got a sneak peek at a video that I uploaded from my iPhone, and I specifically selected unlisted, and boom, as soon as it hits, it goes public. And it's nothing to do with cubing. It was I collect art, and it was my collection of this one particular artist that lived from 1870 to 1840. And I made this video so I could share it with a couple of art galleries that I deal with in Europe. Anyways, that kind of went public, and people are like, what? Why? And then other people are like, man, you're a great artist. No, I cannot paint. I collect this stuff. This was just a video that accidentally went public, and that's all that was. Another update on my music channel. A lot of people don't know this, but I've spent a good part of my life as a historian in early electronic music, particularly or specifically the theremin. Now, the theremin is kind of this, you've heard scary movies, particularly the old black and white movies. It's the only instrument that you don't touch to play. It operates by a body's capacitance, the human body's capacitance, and an electrical field produced by this electronic instrument. It was invented in the early 19th century, around 1919 to 1921, by this Professor Leon Theremin, a Russian physicist. Anyway, I happen to be like the world's foremost authority on an instrument called the electro-theremin. I knew the inventor and I knew the performer. I was the only person to interview these guys in depth over a period of almost 20 years, about 18 years. I knew these guys. They've both passed away. They were both good friends of mine. Long story short, this instrument called the electro-theremin was used in stuff like in the 1960s when I was growing up to about 1970, stuff like the Beach Boys' Good Vibrations, that woo, I can't sing, but you get the idea. Lost in Space, My Favorite Martian, all kinds of stuff. Well, I knew the guy that made this instrument, who designed and built it and invented it, and I knew the musician that performed it. And in 1958, he recorded this album, the first album to kind of like introduce this instrument to the world. And I was asked last year to write the liner notes to this album. And not only did I do that, I also supplied the original master tape. So it's kind of cool providing the original master tape that they've now made a CD, and they've reissued it on a gatefold album, which is really cool. Vinyl LP. Some people still like vinyl LPs. So that kind of kept me busy. Anyway, on my music channel, I read my liner notes as I wrote them. It's about a 4,000 word document that I wrote out. And actually, over the past 20 years, since 1997, when I participated in the first International Theremin Festival, I kept a journal of all my research for the electro-theremin, and it's now about 47,000 words. One of these days, I hope to publish it in book form. But until then, these liner notes on this one specific, one sole instrument, it's as close as I've gotten to now. So it's kind of interesting. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, check it out. It's in my music channel. Okay, now shout-outs. Now, the top of the list on my shout-out is GingerAyl Cuber, and I'll tell you why. He won my recent giveaway, my 4,000 subscriber giveaway, the U.S. winner. And as soon as he won it, he says, "No, I already have a GTS 2M. Can you just give it to Alyssa the Cuber?" And I'm like, "Are you sure? I mean, you're the winner." And he says, "No, she doesn't have one, and I have one, and I really want her to have it." And I'm like, I was really impressed by this young man. I'm like, wow, what a stand-up guy, you know? I mean, holy cow. And it took a lot of persuading of me going like, "Look, I want you to have a cube. If not this cube, you pick the cube. We'll still give Alyssa her cube, but what do you want me to build?" So after kind of persuading him, he decided he wanted the Yuexiao Pro M, and I built it with N48s, the 5x1 magnets, and he really likes it. And I did this spring swap, but he's number one on my shout out because, wow, what an incredible guy to win a prize and just immediately kind of relinquish it and say like, "Nah, I'd rather have this person have it because they don't have this cube." And I thought, wow, what an outstanding guy. So GingerAyl Cuber, my hat off to you, because I think you're a pretty good person for that. Okay, next on my list is GCubing 10. I think a lot of people know him. This kid's real fast, and he's been kind of doing some testing of some prototypes. Like I've been took kind of a break recently because I'm kind of busy doing other things, but a couple of months ago I was really doing a lot of prototypes with the GAN Air and a couple of other cubes, and he was kind enough to give me some feedback on that. So I really appreciate that, Jay, and man, look out for him. He's super fast. Another one is IGCuber. He's done several 4x4s, and he's testing different magnets. So it's great hearing somebody else doing kind of what I'm experimenting with, and we're kind of sharing information. He's done more than I have because I've only done my one, the Yuexiao Blue. But he's telling me, I tried this magnet on the outer layer. This is what happens, and so he's been real helpful. Another one is Haxpo, Haxpo, real good guy. He's all over the YouTube. He doesn't post a whole lot of videos. I think he just recently got a new camera, if I understand right. I'm trying to remember. A lot of people's names run in because, a lot of people don't use their first and last names. So I'm like, okay, is that Haxpo or is that somebody? But I think it is. Anyway, great guy. Check his channel out. Ram the Cuber from India. Real nice guy. Check his channel out. Hybrid Cuber. He's got a couple of cubes of mine. Real nice guy, a very appreciative cuber, and it's neat getting feedback from him. Check his channel out. Let's see who else is on my list. I actually have a list. It's here on my iPhone. Well, I did want to mention Gaussboys. He was in my last shout out, but he's now started a magnetizing service. So I kind of wanted to shout him out because he's been very supportive of my channel. So he gets a second shout out on this shout out as well. Like I said, he started magnetizing cubes as a business. So that's kind of neat. Next on the shout out list is IGCuber. Real nice guy. Gave me a real nice shout out on his Volcam review and tutorial cube that he magnetized, and he mentioned my channel, and I really appreciate that. And he's had real good success magnetizing, and it's neat for me to see how my channel is encouraging other people to, you know, magnetize and experiment. So big shout out to IGCuber. Another person to mention my channel in one of their videos on the Magnetic Vault 3, one that they magnetized themselves, is BlackCubing. Real nice guy, very articulate. I believe he's from India. Real nice guy. He mentioned me in his tutorial on his cube, saying that he got inspiration and kind of learned how to do it through my tutorial. And I think that's great. I mean, look, there's a million different, well, maybe not a million. There's various different ways we can magnetize a cube. And, you know, I'm not saying my way is the way, because we can approach this in many different ways. The way I do things is different than the way Chris Tran does things, obviously, and other people. But it's nice to kind of get that feedback from people that something you put out there on YouTube has been helpful. So I appreciate your kind words, BlackCubing. Everybody check out his channel. The next shout out is to SuperiorCuber. Real nice guy. Gave me a real nice glowing shout out in his review of his do-it-yourself GTS 2M, where he used N48 5x1s, and he followed my tutorial, and he gave me an awesome shout out in his video. He's got a growing channel, kind of a newer channel, not a lot of stuff on there, but he needs some subscribers. You know, once you start getting subscribers, the motivation gets there. So he kind of needs some channel growth, and he does good. He did a good job. So check him out. Thanks again, SuperiorCuber. Okay, next shout out is to DailyCuber. I really like his quality, and I like his setup. He does this thing, I guess it's green screen, so he kind of appears like himself as kind of in the corner of the video, but then you see the rest of the video, his hands and stuff. It's really cool. It's like a split screen thing, but it's like superimposed. Technically, I really like that setup. It's really cool. He does a lot of mods. He does mag mods. Has been very supportive of my channel, and I really appreciate the shout outs and the mentions of my channel, DailyCuber. I really appreciate that. He's got tutorials on making force cubes, magnetic cubes, the Yuexiao Pro M, all kinds of great stuff. So make sure to check out his channel. Very high quality and a real good guy. Okay, the next shout out goes to the Cuboiz. That is the Potato Churner and Mr. Beaverman. These two guys together have a team, kind of like a team thing called the Cuboiz, this channel. Kind of a newer channel, needs some more subscribers. They did this huge, massive unboxing where they got everything from, I think, glue to cubes to magnets. And you know what they're going to do with cubes and magnets and glue. So be sure to check them out, and that is the Cuboiz. Okay, next shout out goes to Just Cubit. He mentioned me in his 3 magnetic cube video, so that was real nice hearing somebody give me a shout out. And here's your shout out back. He's got very good quality. It's time for a new video. It's been a couple of months since he posted something, but I'm sure he will. And be sure to check his channel out, Just Cubit. And finally on my shout out is Cuber, but he changed his name. It's now I Hate V Perms. He did a funny a little kind of a comedy video saying how to make a magnetic cube and clicking around the internet, and then he said just watch DMCUBING. So that was real nice, giving me a shout out, guy, and here's the shout out back to you. Okay, guys, I appreciate all the support, each and every one of you. I know sometimes it takes a long time for me to get to doing a shout out video, and there are other people that they want a shout out just to give a shout out, to get a shout out. I don't do that. You know, I feel like when somebody's been supportive of me and vice versa, you know, then we kind of deserve, or we've earned a shout out. And I'm not asking for people to do that. I just find these videos on my own. I'm out there looking around or watching, and I'm like, wow, somebody just mentioned me, or they subscribe to me, and then they'll upload, and I subscribe back, and then they'll upload something, and they'll say like, hey, check out this channel. This is where I learned how to do this, and stuff like that. That's kind of where these the basis of these shout outs come from. So I'm sorry if I left anybody out. I try to make sure that I put everybody on my list here. And so, okay, this has been a very long video. I apologize for that, and I will get back to you after I've magnetized that GTS 2M with N42 5x1s in it, and I'm going to do the mini vault too, so that ought to be fun. Okay, guys, we'll talk to you later. See you guys later. Happy cubing. Bye.